We are go for liftoff in T minus 30. Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
Italo Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everybody. This is Italo from Italo's Blog Talk Radio. I am so thrilled that Ida is here today. Hello, Ida.
Hi.
I've been following Ida for a little bit, and every time she comes on, she cracks me up. And I'm like, but then there was a point that I thought that accent you have when you're doing your African accent.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where is it from specifically, but
Yeah.
I have to check because you always curse, but you curse so nicely and so gently, and you're like, that sounds so nice, but you just curse me out.
It's pretty
So
fun.
Where did that come from? Like, what is your inspiration to create I think her name is Mama Aji,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Well, the name is inspired by my grandmother, my late grandmother in Gambia. And the accent, I would say that I don't think that my accent is the same as the accents in the country where I grew up, or my dad's country. It's called the Gambia in West Africa. I feel like my accent is a hodgepodge or a mixture of different African accents that I've heard. So it's funny, South Africans will hear me and they think, oh, wow, you sound like you're from our country. So I'm just like, maybe not all African countries, but definitely I would say that Southern African nations and West African nations can hear themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know if you intentionally came up with that character, but that's it. You're stuck with that one because everybody loves it. I think everybody can relate with Mama G, and it's just a motherly, at the same time, kind of stern, but yet it has like a balance that
Yes.
it works. It works for you.
Yeah. I love it because it allows me to share certain sides of myself, but also just be funny. I mean, Mama Aji is, I don't even know if she's parts of me because she has her own personality altogether, but I get to do things that I normally can't do in
Right.
real life. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. So how come she hates doing dishes?
Now that's me.
I
That's me
figured
all
out with
day.
you. You're like, I hate this. I'm gonna make a video.
Yes. It's funny. Like when it comes to TikTok, some of the ideas, actually all of the ideas are what I feel. The way that Mama Aji explains it, her softness, I find like I do have a soft-spoken voice, but I also can be, excitable. Mama Aji's not. She's always like there.
Right.
But
Like one tone.
yeah, even tone, one tone, whether she's happy or sad. But I really hate dishes. I really, really do. I've always hated them. I would clean 10 bathrooms over washing dishes.
Really, I think for me it's the laundry. I hate doing
Really?
laundry. Yeah. I can do dishes though. I can do your dishes if you do my laundry.
I don't like laundry either.
We can exchange chores, I don't like
Basically.
like I'm literally standing next to my laundry right now.
Mine's right there.
And it's like piling up, like it's been 3 weeks, I think, and I'm running out of clothes. I'm like, okay. Yeah, one day.
One day
But we're
I'll
doing
get
TikTok. We're so entertained with TikTok. It's like, I'd rather be doing TikTok than laundry.
same. Oh, anytime. Anytime. However, my sink is empty now. I think I kind of just and my sink is never empty. It's always full with something. But laundry is now the plan for tonight, and I've got piles. But
So tell me about your experience with TikTok. Has it been what you expected? Was it more than you expected?
Yeah. I would say that TikTok has been a huge blessing. Really. I mean, I did have a moment there where I kind of, you know how people say they're shadow banned. And I knew that I had done something that TikTok wasn't very happy with, the algorithm wasn't happy with. So I needed to figure out what that was. And I was kind of stuck there for about 2 months. But even in that, so to answer your question, I love TikTok. Love it so much. I love the community that I've been able to be a part of, my own and other people's. Because you know, when you go into lives, you get to meet that host or that content creator's family, and it's been a blessing in this quarantine period that we've had too. TikTok has allowed a middle-aged woman who works a 9 to 5. Am I middle-aged? I don't know. I'm late 30s. Is that middle-aged? Maybe. Whatever.
I'm past that point. I'm 48 now, so I don't think I'm going to live to be 100. So I'm past my happy point.
Let's say you will make it to 100. That's my goal.
Okay. In that case, I'm middle-aged.
Middle-aged. But to be able to express herself, and not many things give you that opportunity. I know that there are other sites out there, but TikTok's been amazing. So yeah.
Right. And I always say this, you know, there's always, of course, Facebook, everybody knows Instagram, but everybody I've talked to so far, everybody who's been from TikTok, I come into the podcast, has said the same thing. It's like, there is uncharacteristic for you to do funny things, or you cannot be silly, you cannot be this, you cannot be that. You have to be in one lane where your people already know you as you know, the person you were. But then you want to be silly, you want to be exciting, you want to be creating new things. Like I found so many more things I can do being on the app, and some people's lives are very interesting.
Yes.
And your life was really cool because it calmed me down.
Yeah. Good.
So it's interesting to find out people in a personal level, if you know what I mean. Like, I can see Mama Aji, but that's not who you are, you know, 100%. So when you spend a few minutes in your life or anybody's life, you get to have a more of a sense of who they are, and that's what I love about. There's more things I love about TikTok.
Yes.
And all the connections you can make, and the community you're building. And I'm sure I have like different communities going on. So
yeah, and you've met your twin brother.
He met me. Yeah, he met me, and he duetted in one of my videos, and I'm like, wait a minute, is that me doing me? I'm like, it took me a minute. I'm like, and then we were having the podcast.
Yeah.
Like I cut out some of it because it was like 5 minutes of us were like giggling, and we're like, wait, you have the same.
That is cool. And you know, when I first saw it, I thought, even though you said meet my twin, I was like, did he just duet himself? Then I watched it and watched it and watched it, and I go, okay, let me click on this guy's, you know how you can click on the leading to his page. And I'm like, what the heck?
Right.
That's so amazing.
Kind of uncanny. I'm like,
yes.
And he's a poet. Well, he's a musician. But I'm like, we are both poets, and we both have the same gray hair, and we have.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Where is he from?
Okay, so
does he live in California?
He lives in California, in northern part of California.
What?
Okay. Yeah. I live in LA. He lives in near Sacramento area. Okay. And so we're in the same state. And his father, I think, is Portuguese, and my parents are Peruvian. So that kind of makes sense to a degree. I'm like, but we can be related, can we?
Yeah.
You know, like, no, my father's great. I'm like, okay, then your father's your father. Then it's fine. Couldn't be my mother's, you know. Yeah. So. Yeah. It was a trip.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you find out, or what people are asking you to, or what is some of the things that they want you to do more of?
More of? Uh, I have a lot of people asking for me to do ASMR. And I am learning a lot about myself through trying to do that, because ASMR feels so uncomfortable to do, because I don't feel like it's my sphere, but I do love to talk.
Yeah.
So ASMR would be fun, and I love the opportunity of helping people relax, because that's a big thing for me. Just the fact that I struggle with anxiety, anything that can help me calm down, I'm down for it, whether it's aromatherapy or whatever, I'm down for it. So the idea of getting into ASMR is very exciting, but also very scary. And I like this challenge. I like to see how I'm going to overcome it. And then the thing that everybody loves is when Mama Aji gives advice. They like her little chirps when she's being super funny, like the Mama Aji in the phone call, the collection agent that keeps calling her. They love those. But I think people like the ones where she relates to humanity and the struggle that we have, whether it's being insecure or people telling us that we're less than what we actually are. And yeah, I think that's what they want most of.
More inspirational.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and there's a few people that I'm following, and they're struggling right now. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of stress. And even for myself, sometimes I have to step away. Like, okay, give me a couple days to come back, because it's just the next 2 weeks is going to be really stressful.
Yeah.
But with nothing we can handle, because we've gone through the worst, I think.
Yeah, we have.
So we'll see what happens. But anyways, there's a whole pandemic, and it sounds cliche at this point. Like, yeah, we all know that, but it's a spiritual kind of pandemic. Like, we're, you know what I mean?
Yeah, our hearts and minds are as much under attack as the possibility of our body being and our health being under attack. And I think that this pandemic is affecting the whole person. It really is. Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have the trolls, and we have the bullies, and we have.
Yeah.
I can't believe you get any, but I'm sure you do.
Well, I don't get them too bad. I think the craziest thing is one of my I won't even call it a pet peeve. I feel like it's a violation to TikTok. It's a TikTok violation. Is when somebody comments something serious on a comedic post. Like if a mother is saying, just dropped the kids today, and she's like, oh no, I mean, I actually dropped them. And then the person, it's a joke, and you can tell this mother loves her child. And then someone will come on there and say, it's not good to joke about dropping your kids. Like, go away. So I have 2 posts that I just posted today, just to kind of say, people, TikTok is for entertainment just as much as Thundercats or anime or whatever that you enjoy. You just accept it. Accept these posts for entertainment. It's not real. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes with I'm doing, as of lately, I'm doing a movie trivia on horror movies. And then it may be horrific to watch, but I try to make insert a joke or 2 in between there, just to it's just entertainment. It's not supposed to be scary. It's not supposed to be, I mean, even The Exorcist, it's traumatic to watch, but there's some comedy to everything. So I always try to find something funny to insert it. And I don't know if it's I have a twisted kind of comedy, like dark comedy or dark
sense of humor.
Humor, I guess they call it. And so, but yeah, I'm trying to, I guess that's what I'm trying to do with TikTok, is explore that side of me that I'm afraid of comedians, because I'm always the one that they pick on, like it's like I'm sitting in the audience, I'm like, oh my God, don't talk to me. I
You
don't
have a
know.
welcoming face, I'm sure.
Yeah, a phase that you can pick on, I guess.
I always like just kind of sink into my chair. I don't even want to be a part of the comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried doing your performance live?
Well, the funny thing is that Mama Aji, I've never, how do I say this? I I was not an actor, and when I was in my mid 30s, I decided I'm gonna try it because I went to an improv class and they kept raving, and I tried acting and I ended up getting a lot of really cool opportunities pretty quickly. I lived overseas when I got them, and I guess being American in England, it meant that I stood out. But then I moved to California, so I lived there for a bit as well, and I did like a traveling theater. So for me, acting was always something that I tried and I enjoyed it. So I've never considered myself a comedian, although I like to be funny.
Hmm.
Would I ever do that? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you should once the pandemic is over and done with. I mean, when I what I do is the open mics,
Hmm.
and there's open mics that is for storytelling. I think your storytelling is on point. Like you have a storytelling style to you that is not comedy, yet it's not poetry. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's more of a
Thank you.
storytelling kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I went to school. So my passion was singing from the time when I was 12 years old. And family members told me very quickly that that is not going to happen. Like, that's a fool's dream, basically. That's for fun. And that I needed to choose a real career. So at 12, I decided, because I was watching In Living Color, I think.
Mm.
I think I was watching In Living Color, and they had this one commercial. You know how they did those spoof commercials?
Yeah.
And I thought, that's the most entertaining form of business that I can do. In my family, they're all business people. So I'll do that. And so I studied marketing and advertising. And so I've always loved telling stories, but I don't really care about corporate, but I've done it all my life. So yeah, I love storytelling. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Uh,
But you always have to find your lane in that
yeah.
sense too, because I always thought I was like, well, because I was trying with poetry, and
Mhm.
my poetry doesn't really rhyme. It tells a story, but it doesn't really
Mhm.
have that strict code of rhyming the first
Mhm.
with a second or third. And I'm like, that's not me. So when I started doing it, and then it took me a while,
Yeah.
obviously, to come out of my shell and finally share it. And it was petrifying. It was so scary. And
Yeah.
but once you share your own story, it just became, easier, empowering, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I would love to hear your poetry. Do you do that on your page? Do you share it?
yeah, but the only thing,
Why do
yes,
you say it like that?
I'm laughing because that's the ones that get the least views and the
Mm.
least likes. If you know what
Hmm.
I mean, like you can be doing Mama G and then you come out with something new and people are like, oh, but that's not Mama G. Come on, keep scrolling.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I do have poetry and I will probably introduce it later on, down the
Hmm.
road. But I like to do the podcast right now. And then
Yeah.
because I'm actually doing Zoom, I haven't been doing the Zoom for, it's been a minute. It hasn't been
Yeah.
a long time. So I'm getting used to this. And once I
Yeah.
master this part, then I'll probably switch to something else. So
Yeah. Wow. I I've been told to do a podcast. I've been told to do so many things, and I don't know how you fit it all in. How do you manage to do all these different things?
pandemic, one word, COVID-19. No, and
Yeah.
um, and I will say this on the air too that
Mhm.
it will not be long before I will stop doing it as often as I do because I'm
Yeah.
not that I don't enjoy it. I love doing this. It's
Hmm.
it's a passion but eventually I'll have to get on some other stuff that
Hmm.
I need to do on my own. So
Yeah.
anyways, I'll share that when it comes. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow. It, it's amazing. And I think that life is so fluid because I loved Facebook at some point and I would use it for, there was a business that I had that I helped entrepreneurs with their marketing. And I loved posting and doing all that stuff. Then all of a sudden, I was good. I was done with that. And so I'm okay with just being fluid with whatever's happening right now
yeah,
and seeing how it goes. So I think
right,
that that's pretty cool that you're doing that.
yeah. How come your name is To Every Mom? Is that because you're a mom, or
Yeah.
you want to have more moms mothers come to your page, or it's just a thing you have?
So, funny thing is that I've always, even I had a blog at once and it was a marriage blog. I'm now divorced, so can't have a marriage, but um, being a mom, I wanted to do mom content. And I think mom content has a face and it has a style, and I'm not that face and I'm not that style. Doesn't mean that people won't like my mom content. It's just that that type of mom content where you're like talking about the kids did this again, I don't fit that character, and it looks a certain way and it talks a certain way and behaves a certain way. So when I started, I knew that I wanted to attract moms as my target market. So I named myself, I had several names before, and I finally landed on To Every Mom. And then I came up with then I just started doing whatever made me happy. And I was doing a video where I talked about putting my daughter to nap and said, it's so funny, like I'm really happy right now. Most people, when you're a part of multiple cultures, you go into your accent or you go into that culture whenever you're angry. So for me right now, I'm going into it and I'm happy and I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, that this child is sleeping, you know? So I did that, and then I did it a couple more times, and people were like, oh my gosh, we love this. And I knew, that is a part of me that I love as well, my African side. I think it's hilarious. We make fun of my dad all the time with the things he says. So
Right.
I just kind of moved in and started doing more Mama Aji stuff. But at some point, some of the other content that I'd like to do are for moms, kids music, kids shows. So yeah.
Right. You have
Mhm.
a daughter, right?
I do. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because yeah, one of your lives, you were like, yeah, I put her to sleep. She's fine. She's taken care of. I'm glad that you
Mhm.
don't, because some people do bring their kids into the live, and it's
Mhm.
like, ooh, don't do that. You're gonna get
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, she's always asleep. Last week, I did have her in the background, and people could hear her, and they loved that. But I don't really let her feature even in the videos.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you never know who's watching.
very true. And she didn't ask for that. I want to be on camera, and not for me to just put her on there. But no
Right.
judgment to the moms that do that. That's their thing. This
Yeah, of
just isn't
course.
mine. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's yeah, it's your thing.
Yeah. Hmm.
Whatever floats your boat.
Right.
Exactly. But yeah, I would like to actually see if you're doing anything like podcasts wise or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, you can let me know and I'll help you because it's actually it's a few people that I've met here on the on I was gonna say Instagram
Yeah.
on TikTok that are planning on doing this. It's like, yeah, I'll help you. I'll help you start it.
That's so cool.
And yeah, because it's a new way, and
Hmm.
you know how we had to transition from what we were doing before to now all being virtual. And
Yeah.
for me, it was the hardest because I'm a per, person to person kind of person.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's redundant, but you know what I'm saying? Like I like to talk to people one on one.
Hmm.
So this is perfect, but it's not the same connection that
Hmm.
I get from a live person standing
Yes,
right in front of me.
very true.
So it's a transition that we
Mhm.
all had to do since March.
Yes, I'm telling you, I
Yeah.
miss and I'm an introvert, so I'm not. I wouldn't say that I am having the toughest time. Plus, I have a child who's here a lot of the time, so my brain is constantly moving. But I miss hugs. You know how you just would see somebody and greet them and you just hug them? I don't know if you're a hugger, but I am. And I miss being able to just do that when I see somebody. I really do. And now when you see them, you're like, hey, and then you hold
Mhm.
yourself back. But all those who hate hugs,
Yeah,
they're
or like,
happy. They're
ooh,
like,
60.
finally. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I miss my hugs.
Hmm.
I get my hugs from, my boyfriend here, but
Yeah.
still, it's different than, having to hug people that you
Yes.
just, oh, you haven't seen you in a while. And, it's not the same thing virtual, but
Mm.
it's tough.
Does your boyfriend
I
ever
mean, it
feature on
must
your
be tough for your
videos?
daughter too.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Some of them come to my podcast.
Yeah.
And I go to their open mics, which is now virtual.
Hmm.
So yeah, we I get to see the people that I used to see face to face, but it's still different. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we'll
That's
we'll get
true.
used to this eventually.
Yeah, we will. It's
Right,
gonna be like this for a while, and it will become a part of our version of normal life, I guess.
right.
Yeah.
Speaking of introverted, so have you taken the test where you can find out if you're introvert or extrovert or ambivert? Because there's one that where actually I'm an ambivert where I can
Hmm.
be introverted in person or extroverted or
Yeah.
but it depends on my mood. Like I don't know if you have that.
I haven't taken the test, but I've read either seen a video or read an article about those three, and someone also said to me, it depends on how do you energize. And my sister told me, oh my goodness, I energize around people, and people I feel like so much of my energy
Mm.
that I energize on my own, and then I need to take a lot of alone time. And I've been like that since I even was a teenager. My friends would say, "Why don't you want to hang out?" And I just don't, and I didn't know why. But now I think it's because me time is very important
Oh yeah,
for me. Yeah,
I didn't realize it either until the quarantine because I was forced to stay
yeah,
indoors,
yeah.
and so now I actually treasure my alone time.
Hmm.
That I wasn't doing it before. I was just going on empty.
Yeah, always on the go. Same. When I lived in LA, I there was always something to do. Always something to do. So, and then even when I was pregnant, my friend would take me to TV shows galore. That's how I told when I was telling you guys about Price is Right. I got on there. There's just so much to do in California. I live in a very country town in Georgia now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask you
Yeah.
where are you at?
Hmm.
Because
I
I
live in
yeah,
Georgia.
I know it's the East Coast, but I wasn't sure where.
Hmm. Hmm. In Georgia. And this is kind of where I grew up. I grew up between here and Gambia, West Africa.
Hmm.
And but not in the country like where I live now, which I love. But there
Right.
isn't as much to do.
Do you
Yeah.
ever go back to Gambia or?
Yeah, well, the last time I went to Gambia was like 2012. My parents were still working there at that time. They don't anymore. They are retired. But yeah, they were still working there, and I lived in England, so it was an easy, super 5 hour flight, super quick. And that's
Hmm.
not possible from here. And now they're back in America, so there's no point to go.
Right.
Hmm.
Do they have a travel ban between Ghana and the U.S. or
Oh, between Gambia, I haven't checked what
Gambia?
Gambia's restrictions are, but I know that my parents are older, so they have zero desire to fly anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm super grateful that they were retired when this happened because their business was very demanding and required their presence all the time for about 10 months no, less than that, about 7 months out of the year, they were gone. And then they sold the business a year before.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's, and I never heard of Gambia, to be honest.
It's tiny.
Till today.
Looks like a river.
You know how they say, I'm today's years old when I found out about Gambia.
Yeah.
I'm going to Google this.
Yes. She's like, is she telling? Even someone came in my live once and said, did you mean to say Zambia? And I just laughed because a lot of people, well, most people know Zambia. It's huge. I mean, it's on the southwestern country, and it's more popular than Gambia. And Gambia looks like a river on the map. It's actually within another country. So no one knows. It's a tiny country.
Okay.
But yeah, so you got to check it out.
I will check it out after we're done.
When I say west, I meant east. Zambia's on the east, yeah.
Southeast part of...
Southeast. I think it's above, it's like above the Zimbabwe, Mozambique area. I think it's in that area.
Well, Zimbabwe, yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
There's some countries that I'm like, oh yeah, Zimbabwe, South Africa, obviously. Nigeria, yes. Egypt. People don't realize there's 52 countries in Africa. Lots. So when they say go back to Africa, it's like, okay, where is that?
Where? And such a vast terrain. Like, I mean, I've never seen, every country has its beauty, but I never got to see snow until I flew. I was in a plane flying to South Africa, and to Tanzania. We flew over Mount Kilimanjaro, and I was just in absolute awe. Africa's just incredibly beautiful. It really is, the entire continent. I never got to go to like the desert area, but that maybe one day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I see those posts that, I don't know if you did it, but it was somebody like, this is what Africa looks like. And they show you what a metropolis it is. And it's like, it's beautiful. It's not what you see on TV. It's not what they, it's not the kids that are starving all the time. And or the missionaries that go there. That's not Africa. It might be a part of Africa, but it's not it.
Yes. It's not all of it at all. My parents had a very huge, thriving tourism business, and they also have several restaurants there. One of them is a popular Asian restaurant, and no one would think, right. Chinese restaurant in Gambia, one of the smallest countries, and even in South Africa, South Africa definitely is a very industrialized nation. Industrialized, is that the right word? But it's hugely developed, let's say that. And at their McDonald's, which was the best McDonald's I've ever had, and I'm not a fan of McDonald's, but they had a coffee shop that had cheesecake and baked goods. And I'm thinking, Nigeria's KFC was the best KFC ever.
Yeah.
So Africa is just vast, and people need to give it a chance and visit themselves. Yeah.
Right. Well, Mama G, I don't want to take more of your time because we're going to get cut off, but I do want to invite you to a part 2. I know that it's our first time, so they want to have a topic to talk about. But now that I get to know you a little bit more, I would like to have you and invite you to all my Zoom meetings that I have. I'm like, I can invite somebody.
Thank you. Just let me know.
Yeah, I will let you know. I know that your schedule is very hectic, so I will, make sure that it doesn't interfere with your Mama G and your motherly duties.
Go for liftoff in T-minus 30. Hit the record button.
That's swell.
It's a Lowe's Blog Talk Radio.